let's debrief Universe League episode 5. I have a lot of thoughts. So this might be 2 parts. I might upload the whole thing on my YouTube, so go follow me there as well. There is a TikTok ban in place here in the United States, and if it does get banned, it will get banned by January 19th. In case you can't find me, all of a sudden I'm gone and I'm not commentating on Universe League. You can find me there. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Before I debrief you guys, I do want to talk about like some housekeeping items, okay? I really appreciate that you guys are loving my commentary on this survival show, which is like so unexpected for me. Like I just really wanted to enjoy this show with you all guys, so like I'm really loving all the loud, like thank you so much. But I also do want to ask you all, if you want to share my thoughts and repost it on a different platform like Twitter or something, can you all just please tag my original video? I used to be on Twitter, but I'm not anymore, just because like my mental health is way better outside of that platform, okay? So I can't control the narrative, what people are saying when people repost my stuff there. And there's a reason why my saves are off, because I don't want my stuff being in other platforms. Like I just want them to stay in TikTok, but like obviously I know I can't control that, sure, because whatever I post out there on the internet, it's just gonna be there, right? But if you do post my stuff anywhere else, can you just please link the original TikTok? Like I'm not taking any offense to that, obviously. I love it when you share my thoughts, and I know you are appreciating it and you just want to share. But at the same time, like I said, just out of respect, please just link my original TikTok video, or else I'm gonna start putting a freaking watermark on my face. At least put my TikTok username somewhere. Don't erase it. Anyway, love y'all. Also, when it comes to spoilers, can you all stop spoiling stuff for me as well? This is the one show I don't want to be spoiled, okay? I know I'm impatient, but like I want to enjoy the show in real time as much as everyone else is as well. Please have some respect. And you all know I live in the United States, so I don't get the sub version until probably the Saturday my time here. There is gonna be some delay when I post my commentary, so please just have some patience. Anyway, we got that out of the way. There's Universe League episode 5 debriefing. Warning, spoilers, okay? Don't watch this if you haven't seen it. Let's do a little recap, okay? And episode 4 ended on a cliffhanger, which was basically the storyline between Kyoungho and Wonki. That was a diabolical ending, honestly. I really wanted to know the tea. We kind of get that closure in this episode, and honestly, you guys, the first 20-30 minutes got me crying. I filmed my reaction to parts of the episode, and I was literally fucking crying, okay? I don't even know if I should post it, but maybe I will. I don't know, we'll see. But you'll probably see it on my YouTube, not on TikTok. If you see me looking somewhere else, that's because I have my notes. So Mamma Mia, this was the second team that's performing that same song. Team Groove Bench definitely went for an edgier vibe, like compared to Team Beat's starting lineup. When I was watching and comparing Team Beat's starting lineup performance and Team Groove Bench performance of Mamma Mia, it really reminded me of my experience as a live audience when I went to Mama Awards in LA. I saw TWS and Rise perform at that event. If you all don't know, TWS and Rise are probably one of the most popular 5th gen boy groups right now, and they have such distinct concepts, but they are equally adored. And that's what it made me feel watching these two groups perform the same song. I'll definitely like get more into that. But back on Kyoungho and Wonki, the episode opens up with Kyoungho talking about him and Wonki, like, and honestly I was right. Like there's no drama between them. Like the show's editing definitely played a clear role to milk the views, okay? Let's be real. Kyoungho even shared that they had a great relationship, which is like evident by the way that they talk to each other. Like they are very respectful when it comes to each other. The interesting thing that I really learned from this episode about the two of them is that Wonki left TO1, and like I said, I don't know TO1, so I don't really know the lore, the actual lore, but Kyoungho did say that Wonki left TO1 for an undisclosed reason, and it really puts it into perspective that how sometimes we as fans know as much as the idols themselves when things unfold like this in real time, you know? So that's something that I definitely keep in mind nowadays, right? Kyoungho only found out that they were both doing the show after he arrived on Universe League, which must have been such a shock. Like I'd feel awkward too, right? And we've mostly seen Wonki's perspective since episode 1 until now, so it was like really nice to hear Kyoungho's perspective. This episode really brought closure on this storyline with Wonki and Kyoungho. At the heart of it though, it's like a story about friends like really drifting apart due to circumstances beyond their control. It's truly a reminder that life shifts, especially in an industry that pits young people against each other. friendships can be seasonal, and that's okay. Like, normalize the fact that not all friendships can last forever because life happens. I'm not saying that Kyoungho and Wonki are not friends. They probably are still friends, but probably not at the same level as they used to be, which is totally fine. Like, let's normalize that. Friends drift apart. Like I said, I was bawling when Wonki was crying. I was just like, this must have been such like a huge thing for them personally, for Kyoungho and Wonki. Like, the whole circumstance is just such an emotional release for both of them. This made me love them both. I really do. Like, I loved them both from the beginning, but I was just like, wow, I wanna protect these two. Oh my god, I love them so much. Let's move on to Team Groove's performance of Mamma Mia. When it comes to the Mamma Mia performances, Team Groove bench won. So it was Kyoungho's teams. Their immediate reaction was basically joy, but Kyoungho expressed that he also felt bad. Wonki was crying, and that shit got me fucked up, okay? And we also, El Capitan walked out, which is fair. He couldn't, that is his song, so to lose it is, I'd feel that shit too if I was the producer, right? It really just showed you how intense the competition is, and at the end of the day, we're all humans, we feel so much. Sometimes things are really just that deep, okay? I've seen a lot of comments of people saying that they really prefer Beat's interpretation of Mamma Mia because the song truly suited them, especially Wonki. Kyrie also held it down. I honestly think I love Kyrie. I think he's still my Japanese pick. Every time he was center on that performance, my eyes were definitely glued at him. If I was in the live audience, I probably would have also voted for Beat too. Like, straight up, like, Beat, I think Beat really embodied the song. And they also had the advantage because, like I said, El Capitan is the producer and is their mentor. So he truly created the song for them. So they know the true essence of the song. Their performance was obviously incredible. The interpretation was just on point. Even though there is this preference for Beat's Mamma Mia performance, I don't want you all dismissing Groove's Mamma Mia performance either. Because when you think about it, like, Beat's performance of Ignition, like using the scarves to stand out, was something that they know that they can use to their advantage going up against like a really strong rhythm starting lineup, right? So it's kind of in the same way where like Groove's bench team leaned into their visuals. The audience obviously ate that up. When you look at it, it's them doing market research, and they understood their audience and really played to their strengths. And given that they have really, really great vocals, that even added to their appeal, right? Vocally, Groove's bench delivered. Like, even though Beat's vocals were also great, while I do think that Beat had that insider knowledge of what the song is and how to really embody that, the audience didn't. So in a way, Groove really reshaped that performance for them. And honestly, I think if anything, the battle between Mamma Mia really, really embodied this concept of intercept. Groove reshaped the performance. They intercepted the performance, redefined it, and made it their own. At the end of the day, it really came down to personal preference. Probably out of the 3 battles, this was the one where I think was really the closest. And you can really see that in the voting results. Someone said, like, I think it really comes down to personal preference at the point, which is so true. Like, both performances were phenomenal. Like, if I was a live audience, I would have been torn as well. Even though I feel like I would have leaned in more with Beat's performance, I do feel that Groove did not disappoint. Some of you guys have been saying like, oh my god, the sexy version Mamma Mia didn't really suit the song, and like, yeah, I guess that makes sense, sure. Like, that's your preference, right? I do think like the performance itself was great in itself. Like, even if they were fully clothed, which they were, okay, even if their midriffs wasn't showing, even if they weren't wearing crop top, I feel like Groove has also showcased a really good performance. It's really just the fits that made it more sexy. The moves were just a little more like, maybe like more fluid. But other than that, if they were like covered up, I feel like it would have been just a solid performance, right? I still do think at the end of the day, I still would have voted for Team Beat for Mamma Mia. And this reminded me of my personal experience when I was a live audience for Mama Awards in LA. This debate really reminded me of watching Twas and Rise's performance live at that event. Those two groups are probably one of the most popular 5th gen boy groups right now. TWS has this very boy next door fresh concept, which is kind of reminiscent of Team Beat, right? And Rise, they have more of like an edgier, groovy style, no pun intended, which matches Groove's vibe. Even though I came to that event as like a Rise tan, Rise is 7 by the way, okay? I left gravitating towards TWS. Maybe part of it was because personally, with everything that was surrounding Rise, like the whole situation, right? It emotionally affected my perception and also preferences at that moment. So in that moment, I gravitated towards TWS. And I'm trying to put myself in a live audience type of mindset to really understand how they viewed these two performances. When I think of it that way, I'm like, oh yeah, I get it, okay? Like, it was pretty close, I would say. Like I said, I keep saying it, but I think I would have preferred Team Beat. The general takeaway is really that both groups and performances were amazing, and it shows their work ethic. At the end of the day, it all boiled down to personal taste. Would I have preferred Wonki to be in the track? Of course. Would I have preferred Kyrie? Yes, because Kyrie had really, really stable vocals in that. But, you know, this is not the performance results that I was infuriated at, because obviously we gotta talk about the prison battle. That shit really grinded my gears, okay? Yeah, that got me fuming. I wonder if they could have just included like Wonki's voice. That song is for him. That song is truly for him. Like, can you guys just make an exception and include his voice in it? Every time I close my eyes, I'm just like, Wonki, is that you? Mamma Mia equals Wonki to me. Sorry, that's how my brain works. I'm disappointed that Team Beat didn't win, but this is not the biggest disappointment of the show, okay? This is not, because we're gonna talk about prison. Let's talk about prison right now. A prison battle. This was a battle for cuntiness, okay? Cunty is the word. That was the essence that you need to bring forth in this performance. Let's dive deep. In this episode, Team Groove's starting lineup, their fits were definitely giving cunty. It reminded me of 17's like Shohikugen outfits. Heejun's especially reminded me of Wonu's sorry, I'm like blushing thinking about it because Wano is literally my alt bias, okay? But his like blazer with like nothing underneath, it reminded me of Wanu's pictures in Shohikugen. He only had like a lace thing underneath. Anyway, let's stop talking about that. Team Groove had like 3 MVPs in their lineup, so which really showcased that this group is stacked as fuck, okay, in terms of like live voting popularity. The song in itself was very difficult vocally, okay? It's straining vocally. Even Chung-sub said that like, shit, this shit's hard, okay? And that definitely just tells you how this was going to be such a challenge for the trainees, you know? I appreciated the Parkhan spotlight in this episode. Thank you so much. Groove really hyped up Parkhan, which as they should. I am such a big fan of him. I was here for it. I think he's still very underrated because for some fucking reason, the live audience don't resonate with him. It's okay. It's okay, honey. You resonate with me, you resonate with us, okay? He is insanely talented. He has such an incredible ear. You can see him like harmonizing with his teammates and also like became their kind of like vocal teacher in a way as well. Honestly gives me vocal prodigy. Like his technique is top tier and it's so endearing to see someone like really nerd out about their craft. When he was just like practicing on his own in that little booth, I was like, this is so cute. Oh my god, you deserve the world, okay? Also, every time I see him, I can't help but like see Anton. Like visually, he looks like Anton from Rise. Also have the same like introverted energy as well. And damn, this is so funny because Anton is my bias from Rise. So interesting. And he literally did Siren on the first or maybe second episode. Chung-sub's vocal lessons. We saw Heejun like completely fanboying about him. Like who hasn't fanboyed about Chung-sub at this point? It's amazing. We saw him telling them to like really scale back. Well, not really, but like he told them to kind of scale back a little bit on the choreo to really focus on the vocals because we all know this team is very vocal heavy. He is a very vocal focused coach. It made sense for a song like Prison. The thing is with that, definitely reflected on the performance. I got thoughts. Team Groove's starting lineup Prison performance. So we saw Kenta as center. He stood out, obviously, and his fit was it definitely stood out because it showed his abs. His stage presence has improved so much. When he was talking about being given the chance to be center for this song, I was like really grateful for the opportunity. That was so adorable. Like, Kenta, I'm so glad that you were given a chance to shine because I felt like he's He hasn't really up until this episode, I would say. I haven't seen much of him, so it was nice to see him as center and really showcase what he can do and what his appeal is as well, because he's pretty popular. I was happy that Heejun had a lot of parts. His vocals are pretty stable and it really showed. I feel like I wouldn't have seen that if he stayed on rhythm, because you know rhythm is definitely like performance heavy. They have like really good vocalists, but we all know the vocalists are in Team Groove, right? So it was really nice for him to showcase the vocals and really see what Changsub saw in him that made him like trade. It wasn't just for his visuals and sharp edgy face or whatever, but also for his potential, his vocal potential. Big J-Ho surprised me. I didn't see much of him either before, but his vocals were great. Park Han, insane. What else can I say about him? We all know he's such a good vocalist, right? But the way he dances is also very, very satisfying. And I need people to see how he dances, okay? He has such great control. His moves and stage presence, sharp and precise. I need this man to debut. Vocally, this group overall was unmatched. We all know that. It was expected, okay? Getting into this part of the episode, I felt like, I was like, okay, like this is kind of like a groove. This is groove song, like let's just like let them have it. But Team Rhythm Bench really surprised me, and if anything, like I said this episode, it was their performance that really was so fucking memorable to me. Like I'm saying, I feel like this was my favorite performance of the night. That's saying a lot, because wow. And this is what really grinds my gears. Like I said, Groove's vocals were unmatched, and it was an overall great performance, right? As expected of a Team Groove starting lineup. They're a strong team. But let's go back to when they had to scale back on the choreo because they really wanted to focus on the vocals. And there's nothing wrong about that, because if this song was made to showcase some vocals, of course you're going to prioritize vocals, right? And it's a valid choice given the song's focus. But the thing is, okay, as a carrot, you probably know this. Prison gives me 17 Fear vibes. And maybe I'm just spoiled by ulting a very all-rounder group like 17, but I think they are the standard. So, and if you want to really understand what Prison could be performance, you need to go watch 17's Fear performance. Look at their choreography video, look at their stage performance of that song. Prison reminds me of Fear. Maybe that's just me as a carrot, right? This is part of the reason why it has affected my perception and why I really like Rhythm Bench, is because of this. This is my own biases, okay? So like I said, your personal choice, your personal viewpoint. But when I say watch 17 Fear performance, this is, I think, personally as a carrot, this is what I think Prison should be performed. Okay, so now let's talk about Team Rhythm Bench, okay, and their performance of Prison. Let's talk about their fits. They stuck to their red theme because, you know, Team Rhythm, yay. Someone commented that they look like vampires, which is, yeah, the aesthetic was, I think, was so on point. Like I said, this was a battle for cuntiness. Okay, this song is very cunty. And the fits were giving, both teams were giving. Siren as main vocals, slay, absolutely deserved. In my notes, I literally put, Siren needs to be in starting lineup for them because he needs to help JL with the vocals. That was literally my note. Well, that won't happen anymore. In my head, back then, you know, yesterday, last night, Siren would have really helped out with the vocals when it comes to like Team Rhythm starting lineup. Like, Siren and JL really reminds me of Park Han and Jooyoung in, what did group performed on their first live stage? I forgot. But like Jooyoung and Park Han is literally Siren and JL to me. I honestly think JL needs help when it comes to the vocals. And I feel like Siren could have been that. And I really wanted him to be back in the starting lineup of Rhythm. The Siren injustice is criminal. I need to save Siren. When we were watching their behind the scenes stuff, like Mac and Lee Zino were hilarious. I love them. Lee Zino's goofy personality is everything to me. What I really appreciated when it comes to Team Rhythm's approach on Prison is that they incorporated the difficult choreography. And they know coming in that this is very vocal heavy, but they still were like, you know what? Let's incorporate it anyway, right? They really focus on sharp, precise angles that suited Prison perfectly. Because of the vibe of Prison, choreography shouldn't also fall flat. Right? We needed that sharp, precise angles and synchronization, and that's what Team Rhythm Bench delivered. Their synchronization was next level, even compared to like Team Groove. I had to rewatch Team Groove's performance of Prison. The editing definitely plays a role when it comes to how you perceive it. We may have a different perspective on what the live audience see, which is true. Like we have a different perspective because we see the edited version of the performances compared compared to how the live audience saw it, right? And I'm trying to put myself in that mindset because I'm like, am I seeing things like really different from them? And I don't want to judge the live audience too much. Obviously, I don't agree with some of their voting, but at the same time, we are also seeing an edited package on screen. So you guys gotta remember that when they edited that part of their performance, because they are so vocally focused, they were zooming in on when people were hitting the high notes. They were zooming in on people's reactions when notes were being hit. While we compare it to rhythm benches, they were really zooming in on certain things like their choreographies. What we see on screen is the product of editing. Before they have us like vote for the groups or the teams, I need SBS to like release actual just like choreography practice videos, or maybe like just the stage in itself without it being edited, because like I just want to see the performance in itself, not being biased or not being influenced by the editing. When I was rewatching Groove's performance, when they zoom out on like the wide angle shots and you can see the dancing, they were a little off on the synchronization compared to Team Rhythm. The only person who had like those really sharp, precise movements that the song needed, that I feel like the song needed, was Parkhan. I saw him on the side just like hitting every single move to the beat. He is so good. He embodied the song so well. Team Rhythm Bench's performance of Prison really surprised me so much. And I honestly, if I was a live audience and if I saw that live, I would have voted for Team Rhythm Bench. Like, I love Parkhan. I love their rendition, and vocally they're amazing. Can't take that away from them. They're the vocal kings. But as a performance package and an overall showcase of skills, I'm leaning more on Team Rhythm Bench on this one. Going back to Prison, let's compare the performances more. Prison is a very vocal heavy song, and Team Groove's vocals slayed, but Team Rhythm brought a more holistic performance. Vocals, choreography, and theatricality, which is what Prison needed. Like I said, this is my personal opinion, okay? And like I said when I explained it earlier, I keep thinking about Fear by 17. Like, when I close my eyes and I imagine this on stage, Prison really does feel like 17 Fear. So that obviously shapes my perception. Okay, I have something to compare to. And when it comes to Fear, and I think Prison, it's all about full production. Vocals, eating, sharp choreo, and just enough edge to really, really captivate the audience. And I feel like Team Rhythm Bench was closer to that more than Team Groove, even though they slayed vocally. That is my, like I said, this is my humble opinion, okay? Don't attack me for it. I tend to look at things more in a holistic way. I know you have great vocals. Like, come on, I'm Filipino. You don't think I don't appreciate vocals? I love vocals. But if we're talking about like really interpreting a song well, I feel like Prison is definitely suited for an all-rounder group. Did Team Groove's starting lineup deserve the win? Yes. I think, you know, even everything that I said, yes, they did deserve the win. We kind of all expected it. But the injustice is truly the scores. Like, I feel like if you're looking at this as a soccer match, okay, there shouldn't have been a 5-goal difference. It should have been like 5-4, if anything, okay? If anything, maybe this could have gone to sudden death or penalty kicks. But no, people decided to vote that it was a 5-0 event. No, it was not a 5-0 event. No way. There is no fucking way. Even Chung Sub acknowledged that Team Rhythm Bench could have stolen this. If he himself said that, he saw something in that performance that deserves merit. They could steal this from us because he saw the potential. He saw how good that performance was. Point blank, period. This is part 2. Most frustrating part, which is the voting results, scores, and everything, okay? Voting results, okay? Let's talk about it. Parkhan, ranking 6 again. That is so wild to me. That is so wild to me. I'm fuming. Even JL was like, where the fuck is Parkhan? Where the hell is my main vocal bestie? It's insane. Kento was first in Groove. I already know he's popular, like, and it shows. Like, I think he's got really great visuals and stage presence, but I'd definitely love to see more. I think he's one of those trainees that could benefit from a trade. Like, I think he could thrive outside of Groove with a different team where he can show more range. Kyoungho was second. I think he's like a pretty good glow up for me as a strong leader and like a very, very talented dancer. Jooyoung promoted to starting lineup. Yes, God. Like, this is the moment that I've been waiting for. He deserves the starting lineup. He and Parkhan will definitely kill it as that vocal duo in Groove starting lineup. Team Rhythm rankings, JL topping individual. That was not a surprise. That is expected. He has a pretty solid fan base, so I'm not really worried about him. I love that for JL. He deserves that top spot. Team Rhythm overall didn't lose any players, but Siren ranking low. I'm fuming. I'm absolutely fuming. The injustice. But also, I feel like the trade might actually work in his favor, giving him definitely more opportunities to shine. Wonki topped Team Beats voting. Popular king. Period. I knew that. Like, we all knew that. He is a king, okay? Like, and I couldn't agree more. I really hope he knows how truly loved he is. Like, he is... I love him. Kyrie deserves a higher ranking. He's been standing out to me a lot, and I truly, truly hope he gets to showcase more. And like, people need to start believing in him. He is still my top Japanese pick. Eliminations. I'm truly devastated about Jungfan. I've grown to love him, and I cannot believe he was not saved. I think it's truly sad that he was in Team B, but because for some reason they just don't resonate with the audience. Like, it's so, I don't understand. I feel like the live audience has a beef with Team B, but then the most popular individual trainee is in that team as well. So it's like, what the fuck is going on actually? If Jungfan stayed, I feel like honestly Ten and Yang would have snapped him up. They love Jungfan. He probably would have really thrived in rhythm. Sadly, he was eliminated with Royce. I think Royce definitely needed more screen time. I wish I got to know him better because he really had a lot of potential, and I'm really upset about that. Trades. Beat to rhythm. Dongyun was traded for Jimin. Dongyun is hilarious. He is so goofy and I love him. I love a goofy person, honestly. I honestly think he would thrive in rhythm. His dancing will really shine there. Groove to rhythm. So Zenzen and James were traded for Juwon. I'm serious. No, because when I was recording my reaction on the trades, y'all, the devastation in my face. Maybe I should upload my reaction clips because that is so fucking funny. Juwon's trade broke my heart. Okay, he was Rhythm's first pick in episode 1, and he was so proud of it. Like, he was like, that is a flex for me. I love Ten and Yang. Those are my dads. Okay. It's so funny to see Yang's devastation over this. Like, the way he reacted, he was just like, I'm losing a kid. I'm losing a fucking kid. But also same. Yang, I felt the same. Siren's move honestly didn't surprise me because he really impressed Changsub. I'm glad he gets to really showcase his vocals in Groove, where he may be safer if Groove keeps winning, because him being so low is so sad. He's one of like the really, really good all-rounder vocalists. He and JL could slay it on starting team lineup of Team Rhythm, but he got some ops apparently. Zenzen, adorable as ever. He's a great vocalist, I think, but I can't wait to see more of him in Team Rhythm, so maybe we get to see a different side of him. The way he reacted when it comes to the move, he was just like smiling. I was like, Zenzen, please, do you know what this is? James, I don't know much about him yet, but I feel like Rhythm might give him more screen time. And that's also one of my gripes. I feel like when it comes to this show, there's only like 42 trainees compared to other survival shows, which has like hundreds. So why is it hard for you to give screen time to these 42 trainees? Like, we have 5 episodes to go. How have we not seen more screen time for the other trainees? Like, I feel like this needs to change ASAP, because you got like 2 hours in a show. Okay, show them. I want to see them. Okay, I have a theory. Okay, so you guys need to hear me out about this. Okay, this is just like my personal opinion. Okay, and maybe this is just really truly a conspiracy theory on my part. Okay, and I'm looking at this holistically in a way where it's like the show and the concept, and looking at it more of like on the marketing and production type of standpoint. I think the show has 3 main characters, and I feel like there's an unspoken rule among the mentors and maybe the producers to not take these key players from each other's team. And these main characters in my head, my personal opinion, are Team Rhythm's JL, Team Beats Chaunki, and Team Groove. I was kind of like debating who the main character is, but in my head, I think it's Park Han. We don't really know just yet because Groove hasn't lost. And the fact that votings for Park Han, I have been disagreeing with, because he should be like top for sure. And honestly, their tops has changed a lot. So I'm not clear cut by that, but I think he is the main character just because he is the undisputed, very talented all-rounder one in that team. Like I said, it's JL, Wonki, and Park Han. And like I said, I feel like there's this unspoken rule among the mentors and maybe the producers as well. Don't take these key players from each of the other teams. Let me explain, okay? Let me explain my thought process. When it comes to JL, and I've noticed this because of the trades that happened this past episode, okay? Changsub has had 2 chances to pick him but didn't. His reasoning in episode 4 was that because he wanted to diversify the team, so he chose Heejun instead. That makes sense, that's fine. But this time it didn't make sense that he chose Juwon, because his reasoning was like, I wanted to choose someone who has a bright personality, and so that's why he wanted Juwon. But like, JL would have also made sense. If he chose JL, I feel like that would have been like game over. I'm not saying that JL should move to Groove or anything, because I do like him in rhythm. Like, I think he is thriving in rhythm, and I don't want Young's family to fall apart. Okay, why didn't Chungsub take that opportunity? He's so strategic too. If his goal is also to keep getting popular players, then taking JL would have been game over, because like JL is an all-rounder. Like, he is the 3 pick. Anyone would have wanted him. If they had the opportunity to swipe someone, it would have been JL. Like, this unspoken rule could also apply to like when we look at Wonki, right? Rhythm could have easily taken him for his dancing. His performance skills, amazing, and theatricality, which is like fits perfectly when it comes to Rhythm's style, right? That's what they're looking for. But they didn't. Wonki also has been great vocally, like, which could have really added another reinforcement to Team Rhythm, but they didn't. They literally lost Juwon, they lost Sirin, who is a great vocalist. They could have easily swiped up Wonki. Wonki is so popular as well. Imagine having the most popular members in your team. He's the most popular individual trainee right now. Why didn't you take him? He could have easily benefited in Team Rhythm. That's what I think. I think there is this unspoken rule that they're not allowed to take these main characters away. Park Han, Groove hasn't lost yet, okay? So no one's had the chance to like really take him, but let's be fucking real. Any team would want him because he's also an all-rounder. I want to test my theory. So if like Groove loses, let's see if someone swipes Park Han. And I think they have this like unspoken rule. I think SBS really wants to keep these players spread out to maintain competitiveness, to maintain competition. It's pretty strategic when you think about it. Like, they don't want one team to be like fully stacked, but it also means for us as an audience, like, actually really sad, because I personally have been voting individually who resonates with me, and I'm trying to build my own lineup. We could see a lineup where we don't see JL, Wonki, and Park Han debuting in the same group. They might never debut together, which like breaks my fucking heart, since all 3 are my solids in my lineup right now. Why did I fucking start this show? Now, let's talk about my gripes. The voting rules need to be clear. Personally, did not realize that we've shifted to team-based voting. Love the sports concept, okay? And I get it. You know, there's no I in team, but the system is so confusing. This voting system is so confusing to me. They need to be clear about that. I know they started incorporating online global voting, which thank goodness, okay? And they split it 50-50 this episode. Although that's a great move and improvement, right? I honestly think that the live voting shouldn't even be 50%. The live audience, 50% of the vote is stacking the deck. With only 300 people in the room, their votes disproportionately affect the outcome a lot. Imagine being a live audience, your vote, let's say 10 points higher than my vote voting online. So stacked just because you made it on the live show. I can't make it to Korea right now. I can't be in the live audience, right? It's giving electoral college. That's what it's giving, but they don't listen to us. This is like painfully obvious too, that they're disproportionately affecting the outcomes in Team Rhythm Bench's disastrous results. 101 should not be their score. There's no fucking way. That competition was so close. That should have been like a 5-point difference. Team Rhythm could have won intercept round, and they could have really stacked their team. Imagine Team Rhythm getting Park Han. That would have been a great lineup, and Juwon wouldn't have left for Groove. I think what could have made the show better, instead of doing the whole team-based voting, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't introduce that, because I think it does go well with the sports concept, but I think they should really encourage individual voting longer into the show. Right now, my faves are all scattered across teams. Like, it's so hard to vote for just one team, and even though I believe that all the trainees are very talented, there are some where I'm like, if I vote team-based, I'm just gonna like, I'm voting for people that I don't think deserve it, or I feel like there are other people that deserve it more than them, but I'm voting because they're the team that I want to debut. It's still unfair when you think about it, right? I need them to encourage individual voting longer, but then maybe pick an episode where they can introduce team-based voting, and from then on, only team-based can happen. They need to introduce team-based voting in a later episode, because once we've seen how the trainees interact and build dynamics with each other, that gives me more of a holistic picture of who really I want in my lineup. That way we can make really informed decisions about which group truly works best for the team, because right now, looking at the teams, I don't even know who I would even vote for, just looking at the teams alone. And I'm not even clear on how to vote for that either right now, because the voting rules are so unclear. Like, although the trades have been like kind of heartbreaking, beneficial at some point. That the trade system definitely allows us to see the different chemistry and dynamics, and I love that. And so that's why we need to do individual voting longer, and then maybe lock it in on a certain episode where we can only go team based from now on, but not right now. I feel like maybe episode 8, maybe episode 9, when we've fully like seen a team that we would love. But right now I'm not married to a team, and it's hard to vote because I'm like, fuck, I want Wonki to debut, but he's in team beat, which have really been getting the short end of the stick this past 2 episodes. I feel like this is such a long video. I don't know how I'm gonna edit this, but I feel like I'm gonna put the full thing on my YouTube, so you guys go follow me in case TikTok gets banned here in the United States. Okay, I'm gonna still continue uploading here on TikTok. And like I said, if you're gonna repost this, my commentary, clipping my commentary and reposting it on another platform, please fucking link the original video, please. It's just common courtesy. I'm not active on Twitter, and I don't want to be, so I can't control the narrative and people's perceptions there. So if you're posting my stuff, please just direct them to TikTok, or else I'm gonna stop commentating. And I'm so sorry this is so long. Thank you for your patience, but also next time, please don't also spoil it for me. Please stop spoiling things on my comment section. The next episode will air while I'm at home celebrating Christmas with my family, so this might my next commentary might not be on time. It might be a lot later. Please just have some patience. I'm really enjoying watching this with you, so love y'all.